In Equalis against Blackheart's boys, ladies and gentlemen. We got Division 5 now in Heroes Lounge. So a little bit more amateur scene these days with some fun drafts too. Now, just to put this in perspective, this is the lowest division in the amateur scene. So we might see some interesting plays and builds here. Over on the left side, we got Jillian on Cho, Jim Beam on Anna. We're getting Sarah Sejra on Leoric. Laya on Liming and Kenny on Gal. Thank you, Kenny, for that nickname. That was a little bit easier. Over on the right side of the map, the Blackhearts boys with Orbity on Imperius. We got Morgan Black on Brightwing, Little Wise Owl on Greymane, Dreamstorm on Nuburak, and Frankfurter is playing Blaze. He is the worst. The Will of Cho on level 1. So we'll actually... and also, when we're talking about Limim, we have Force Armor. But, yeah, this should be an interesting one. This Division 5, as I already mentioned, is the best of 3 series. And we're starting things off with Tomb of the Spider Queen. And let's see how well Cho'Gall is going to perform here. If Cho'Gall is going to be the one to take this. I mean, obviously, we were talking about the Blackhearts boys. They went for Greymane then later in the hopes of having something that can counteract Cho'Gall. No Tychus or anything of the sorts here, and Leoric obviously being picked by Inequalis. So they got, in addition to that, then also that triple front line with a lot of stuns. You got Blaze, you got Imperius, you got Nuburak. And the cool thing about Nuburak in that context is also that he can, of course, easily get the Cocoon dropped on the opponent, which will allow him to get the 2-for-1 Walmart special. You hit one Cocoon and all of a sudden your opponent is down to 3 heroes. So that's always kind of nice. If they can capitalize on that, fantastic. Now, with this, Cho going straight in for the Will of Cho here and that extra armor, we'll see how much survivability they're going to have on all of this. Obviously, right now, the attention is more so on the gems and also the mercenary camps that are on the map. And the red team in particular has actually been pretty diligent around this. They got both. They got the Siege Shines and they got their own Bruiser camp. So they're definitely pulling ahead here and are doing well on the macro level. Inequalis, yeah, they're losing some ground here down at the bottom of the map. Cho'Gall is wreaking havoc on Imperius. Imperius is trying to match that rotation as best as he can, but look at this. Leoki too far out and he goes down. They're recovering the gems at least, but that's first blood for Blackheart's boys. As we see Leoric just ghosting around here. Kenny over in the middle of the map, still picking up some added gems. And this is generally one of those things with Cho'Gall on Tomb of the Spider Queen that can become a problem, doesn't have to. But you are oftentimes running into a situation where Cho'Gall holds the majority of the gems, and if the opponent is doing a good job controlling his movements and monitoring them, then they can try and prevent that turn-in from happening for a very, very long time. With level 4 talents, we're now also getting bombs away over here. So we're already looking at some alternative builds for sure when it comes to the Cho'Gall performance. Rollback is in on level 4 and we're getting Charged Blast for Liming. So this could actually well end up in maybe some glass cannon build. I mean, it's Division 5 after all. We're looking at the Wood League performance over here. And look at the invade. The Blackhearts boys being aggressive here. And I gotta say, they are right now walking away with some pretty neat advantages. Stealing that camp was huge, and they also turned in a few of their gems. Are getting closer and closer to their first potential turn-in. And Cho'Gall, can they make a move for him? Greymane is jumping in, and yeah, needed a few follow-up stun to really lock him down if they wanted to make that happen. Kind of annoying for the blue team that they have to actually defend their own fort now from their camp. But, yeah, top side, still trying to keep Cho'Gall at bay. Turned in more gems too, so now they're sitting at 36 that are already delivered. With level 4, we have Dream Shot for Brightwing, and a small lead in experience now also for the Blackhearts boys. With that team name, I want to see Blackhearts eventually as a map, by the way. I mean, you gotta at least bring that. You can't just tease us like this and then not deliver, right? Cho'Gall again attacked here. Nearly ready for that turn-in. Blaze is currently trying to turn in another 3. That gets them mega close to the first Webweaver wave, but they're not quite there yet. And Nuburak, on the other hand, could potentially turn in. And is trying to do exactly that. And from the looks of it, he's actually going to succeed. So Webweavers are going to touch ground for the red team in a few moments. We have a level 7 talents now. And lots of gems over on the blue team side that haven't been turned in and could technically be taken away from them. So we'll see if a few of those heroes die. The build continues with Seeker now, so really going full into the missiles with Li Ming. Cho'Gall with Augur Rampage on level 7, and we get the Enraged Regeneration here, as the top lane seems to be the center of attention for the boys. The red team trying to take that one out. Mid lane gets easily defended. Down at the bottom of the map, seems like Leo is doing alright for himself, even with Blaze trying to escort the Web Weaver into the wall as quickly as possible. But topside, the only thing that has fallen so far are the 2 towers, and of course the gate. The Web Weaver is still going to be active for a bit longer here, but the red team is falling away. So they're not trying to push this any further. They should monitor Cho'Gall from here on out though. 40 gems in his hands, that's a lot. That's basically more than half of the gems that Inequalis currently holds. So yeah, they would do pretty well trying to prevent Cho'Gall from getting that turn in. Not a super successful objective. He didn't get a lot here. We now have Greymane also with a Wizened Duelist on level 7. Team still looking for additional gems as the blue team is trying to get themselves a set of Siege Giants at the bot lane. Frankfurter is the only one that's there. And yep, we get over on the right side the little wise owl. Like, I don't know, for somebody that calls themselves a wise owl, that's a pretty aggressive wolf that we're getting instead. So I feel I'm being lied to. I mean, this is false advertisement if I've ever seen anything like it. Same as like the vegan meat or something. That's not meat. You can call it whatever you want, but it's definitely not meat. And that is not an owl. I've seen owls. That's not an owl. Blaze, okay, gets a stun. Cho'Gall obviously would love to turn in. They delivered 29 gems already. If Cho'Gall is able to make it to the turn-in spot, they got the Web Weavers immediately. But instead, if he dies, then it is a disaster for them. That's basically their ticket back into the game if they fall behind. Level 10 is ready. So that gives us the bunker, the bullet obviously for Greymane. And the main question is, I suppose... I mean, honestly, I was about to say, a Nubarak trying to tease his heroic ability here is ridiculous. Dude, you're gonna go Cocoon. We all know you're gonna go Cocoon. You're going up against Cho'Gall here. Li Ming, she might use this Integrate now just to counterplay that, and does. Then on top of that, we got the Shadow, Bolt, Volley, and we got the Hammer of Twilight here. So, together with Nano Boost from Ana, Cho'Gall could now become a massive powerhouse with lots and lots of damage on this. But we got 1 kill to 0. Over on the left side, the camp this time hopefully taken by Inequalis. I mean, again, they were in some trouble earlier when the red team invaded, but we're not seeing any of this happen now. Greymane has used that freedom to move to the top lane fort though, and with the help of Anubarak moving in, they're getting the Inspire buff triggered on the minion wave and are about to destroy that fort, and nobody's dealing with it. Nobody cares. Cho'Gall is finally coming in, and so far it's still holding on. But here comes the quick move with Cocoon to counteract the nano boosted Cho'Gall. And the follow-up is there as well. Cho'Gall low, but he makes it out. Yeah, and that's a pretty big problem, that every time you're dropping this, Cocoon can counteract it. Now, obviously, Nubarak needs to have a bit of patience in these situations and not drop the Cocoon too early. But if he just waits for Cho'Gall to use his ults and maybe the nano boost from Ana to hit, then that is a huge tool that they have. Now, Li Ming will try and burn the Cocoon down as best as she can, but to be fair, there's still going to be some time lost, so that's a win in and of itself. We now have 27 gems to 29 delivered. Here comes the turn-in attempt, and he makes it! He actually makes it! Nice! Bit of a faux pas by the Blackheart's boys, so now they have to face off against the Web Weavers. Still plenty of gems in the hands of Cho'Gall with the 40 that he's holding right now, but that was a nice move by them, and they used the time window perfectly. Gal is at 25,000 damage, Greymane at 14,000. We have a small lead for the Blackheart's boys, but honestly, there's nothing decisive here. Not even the fort at the top lane has been destroyed, and now there's the chance for Inequalis to use their push, their Web Weavers and Cho'Gall to try and break down some of those forts. The attack is already coming. Cho'Gall becomes the target. Imperius is falling back. Blaze is dealing with the aggression at the bottom of the map. They take down the Web Weavers in the middle, but we'll see what they do at the top lane. There's the ult already used. I haven't seen that ult for Cho'Gath in such a long time. It's actually kind of crazy. So Shadow Bolt Volley does a bit of work here, but there's nothing too decisive yet. Blaze at the bot lane has done alright. The wall has fallen, but he's able to hold on to the fort. Cho'Gath gets attacked. There's the delivery. Ana, she got cocooned. They want him, and they're gonna get him, I guess. Oh, maybe not. Is he gonna be able to get away? And the answer is nope. Greymane comes in, they get the kill, and they drive him away from the gems. That's more than 40 gems now lost. In Equalis is having a bit of a problem here. They have done damage at the top lane though, so that's at least something. It's a bit of an upside here. They were able to do a lot of structural damage on that fort, but of course losing Cho'Gath is already a setback in and of itself, and losing all of those gems makes matters just worse. 195 stacks now for Cho'Gath's level 1, but here comes the next turn in for the Blackheart's boys. They have a level 13 talent, level 14 in play. 13 talents now also ready for Inequalis, which gives us a Molten Block. Yeah, they really needed that in that last fight. And Cannoneer for Li Ming. So definitely some alternative builds in play today, not only for Cho'Gath, but also for Li Ming. And talking Cho'Gath, he went into the Psychotic Break, and I can totally understand that. I mean, at this point, yeah, the team is looking like they're about to have a Psychotic Break. I would have lost 40 gems in that last encounter. I would be pretty close to that too. A Therapist would have a lot of work to be done here. 19,000 damage for Blaze, top damage in the red team, and 36,000 for Gal. Web Weaver in the middle are going to have quite a lot of damage on that fort. They might actually even take it down, since everybody's focusing at the bottom of the map. Topside fort is likely going to fall too. It depends all a bit on how quick they are down here at the bottom of the map. If the red team just disrupts the rotation a bit, that would help them too. I mean, honestly, every single second that they're buying for the Web Weavers in the middle and the top lane are worth a lot for them. And they're buying a lot of time. I mean, it's still continuing here. With Blaze now darting in, both of the forts have been destroyed, so the lanes are suffering and losing ground. And that's also a huge increase in passive experience from here on out for the red team. They're trying to go for Leoric, and there's the kill. Shadow Bolt Volley first, but Greymane turning it again. Molten Block as they are trying to save Cho'Gath, and they're actually able to get away with him. But we're seeing even the topside wall on the keep destroyed. So this is getting worse and worse and worse. They're trying to save that keep, but that thing is losing hit points massively quickly. Leo is coming in, guys. I'm not quite sure if they can even save this, and even if they do, it's so mega low already. It's crazy. The blue team not defending properly and just not moving towards the top on the mid lane has now cost them massively. Definitely a huge mistake when it comes to the decision making here. And again, we are in Division 5. This is the lowest division of HeroesLounge. They were looking for a fight, they were looking for a brawl, and they let the objective do its thing at the top lane. That cost them a 4 top side, and now also the keep itself, with the mid lane getting attacked too, and then at the bottom they're losing the fort, so they're falling farther and farther behind. By the way, in this case we get debilitation. Nope. Horrible talent. Epic Enter is the only talent that you take on level 16. The spell power reduction is just an absolute fail. That talent is trash, it's garbage. It's absolute bah. So yeah, don't take that crap. It's always the theory. Oh, but you know, if we hit Cho'Gath with it, I mean, he does nothing. We go for Ana, then she doesn't get the healer. It's never really working. Epic Enter is way better. You get the epicenter, you go for the big stuns, you follow up, you stun the target out, stun lock, and dead. So yeah, don't go for that. And A has actually tried to make that work for a while, and it was never really a thing. That talent, every now and then, every 2-3 years, it pops up for a month. It's actually not even true. In the last 5 years, it hasn't been played anymore on the top level. But in A for a while, after HCC went down, was still trying to make it work with a couple of their teams at least. Back when they had more than one. But yeah, that's not really a thing. Believe me, that talent is absolutely not worth it. Too situational, too easily played around, and you're getting way more of Epicenter. It's the same as usual. It's like you compare it to the alternative, and Epicenter is just insane. So that's the problem there. It's not like the talent itself doesn't give you anything, but if you compare it to the alternative, then it's just, yeah, not worth it. Quest nearly completed for Cho and for Gal on level 1 and level 4, so maybe with the rewards they can get a bit more ground, but now we have another Web Weaver wave coming in, and let's just face it, the situation of Inequalis is already bad enough as is. Losing the keep at the top, the gap in experience is just widening, at least for now it's 16 versus 16 talents, but still. Look at the damage output too. Showcases once again perfectly that damage alone is not winning you games. 60,000 damage for Gal, and it just doesn't matter. He has more than double the damage of the highest damage dealer for the red team, and it's just completely irrelevant for the situation at hand. Leo down with more than 50 gems. Li Ming is trying to grab them, gets attacked and interrupted, and yep, they're holding on to most of the gems right now. 93 still in their possession. Everybody darting away from this. Some got picked up by Li Ming. We have now Cho'Gall instantly cocooned, and that's the problem with this particular idea here. They put just too much into Cho'Gall, especially with the ults that were chosen, and then once that Ana drops the nano boost, you have just simply one ult utilized on the side of Blackheart's boys. They use Cocoon, and they just shut Cho'Gall down immediately, and that is the end of the fight. They retreat, turn around, and it's a massive cooldown victory for them. So you could argue that the Blackheart's boys should have maybe capitalized a little bit more on some of the situations in which they found themselves when they were ahead. But right now, they are closing in on level 20. They have destroyed all of the structures except for 2 keeps, which of course means that the passive experience, as visible here, is now increasing more and more for them. So that's going to be big. And the blue team has to try and turn in right now. I mean, this is the best opportunity for them to get that turn in. Cho'Gall is sitting at 70 gems now. They have 16 versus 16. I mean, honestly, if they don't fight now, then they are gonna face up against an opponent that has a 1-level advantage, has level 20 talents, and will just absolutely murder them. So this is really the best time to try and get that turn in. And the red team... very questionable decision here, by the way. They see Cho'Gall at the bottom of the map, so they know they have some time. But that is one of those things that could eventually lead to you losing the game because you went for the throw pit and lost it. Now they got Greymane, I give them that, so they can take it down very, very quickly. They had vision of Cho'Gall at the bottom of the map, now they still know where he is thanks to Blaze, so they know they have some time. But this is always a bit of a dicey one. You're so close to level 20, you don't really need to make that move. Now, if they were willing to let it go, if the rotation comes, then that's fine. But there's too many teams that in the past have always, you know, tried to make that happen somehow, still stick it out when they see the opponent rotate in eventually, and then it all falls apart. So they have level 20 now. The blue team got their turn in as a result, so they traded the boss defense against the Web Weaver defense, and yeah, the lanes are so heavily pushed out that defending this is not going to be a problem for the red team. They're actually just trying to go through the bottom of the map instead to hope and destroy another keep here. And with level 20 talents, of course, they should. We got the Gilnean Roulette right now, which is actually something that I like a lot. That cooldown reduction is super fun, and if you see a good Greymane just come in time and time again and get those shots connected, it is just nasty how much damage you can farm with Greymane. So if there are long sustained battles and Greymane just uses that ult over and over and over again, the damage output is absolutely bonkers. Now still a Web Weaver up at the top, might destroy the fort, should destroy the fort, but they are sieging up at the bottom of the map. They're trying to exploit that level 20 advantage, and Greymane is just looking for Cho'Gall time and time again, works the damage in, as we can see right here. The follow-up is already coming. Greymane has another shot, could take it, and does, and as you can see, his damage is starting to really explode here. He's getting some pretty big numbers through this. Gilnean Roulette is not really the most common upgrade on 20, but it is a fun one. It's really a fun one. And now, of course, it also puts a lot of pressure on the opponent's support. But yeah, Greymane with another bullet, one after another here. They are still holding on to this with Cho'Gall. The top fort has fallen as already expected, so that's the first structure that got destroyed by Inequalis. But here comes the move for, well, first Leo. They might even be able to get Cho'Gall here. Another bullet. Leo is already dead. Ult used. And they dropped the cocoon as well. But this is now a 3 versus 5. In comes the play from Imperius. The nano boost on Cho'Gall. Brightwing also helping out with another poly. And they still have the Inspire buff on the minion wave as they're hoping for the keep. Bullet after bullet being used by Greymane. He got another 10,000 damage throughout the encounter. Li Ming self-stuns with her ult, with disintegrating, gets punished a moment later. The keep about to go down, and now with Li Ming also eliminated, they're waiting for Leoric to make a reappearance, but the core is of course now wide open. Level 20 talents will soon drop for the blue team, so this is giving them at least some hope. And we're getting now Katoon's gift, and we get Shadow Fury. So no death timer reduction or anything of the sorts happening here, but just boosting into the ults a bit further, trying to turn the fights around that way. Leorki attacked, low! The bullets coming out, but obviously not able to get anything done right there. Yep. They're getting them low, but they weren't able to kill anybody else. We now have 7 kills, 2-1. Talrashas for Li Ming. And to be fair, with Leo's level 20, technically, if he gets a good one off, they could turn those fights. They have also enough gems for another turn-in. Question is simply, can they get it? Inequalities had 2 Webier waves so far. This would be their 3rd if they can get there. They have the 5-man back up on the map. And they really need to do something. They can't just allow another turn-in for the red team. But this is exactly what's going to happen if they don't make a stand. So them just sitting tight here doesn't help them. 69 stacks for Cho'Gall. Nice. And here comes again the 5-man for the red team. They should honestly get their turn in now. And it seems like that's exactly what Blaze is going to do. Very efficient. Has exactly the 2 gems that they need. So that's a German efficiency that is coming through right there. Down at the bottom of the map. That's where the blue team is currently still making their stand. And I'm actually a bit wondering what exactly we're now seeing from the Blackheart's boys. Because they could definitely go for the core, but maybe they're really just looking to destroy all of the structures in the game and make a move for the keep in the middle. Gotta drop them all! All the mercenary camps and all the structures. Extra points, you know? So, careful. Yeah. Web Beavers are coming down and they're going for the core indeed. Web Beaver in the middle will likely take down the keep. Unless, of course, Leo is really willing to invest that much time there. Molten Block already used. Cho'Gall got boosted. Gets cocooned. Li Ming, is getting stunned out. Did not go for ult to burn the cocoon down. Comes in with this just a bit too late. Cho'Gall heavily targeted, but is able to make it out of the fight to just recover for a second. Leo with a great entomb, and they're dropping Greymane. That's exactly what they need to go for. Greymane down, Leoric falls. That's still a trade that they're going to be very happy with. But now a Nubarak is eliminated. Webweaver still coming through the top as the blue team is chasing. And they should definitely start defending over here. There's a catapult too, and that will do damage. This time, they're not just simply letting the Webweaver do its thing. So while the catapult was able to take a few points off the core, they are defending. And now they have to go for that turn-in. I mean, boys, you got 94 gems on Cho'Gall alone. The guy is about to unlock the secret mount. He is actually 4... Okay, at this point, screw the turn-in. Just get the secret mount, dude. 97. Go back! Go back! What are you doing? No! He was so close! He nearly had 100! What are we doing here? Absolutely insane. That is disappointing. I mean, honestly, that is just wrong on so many levels. You could have done both, dude. That's a yellow card in my book. If you're this close to getting 100 gems and then you don't go for them, that is just inexcusable. So, beginning of a comeback. We got 2 kills for Inequalas. They got 2 kills and Cho'Gall feels like he's... Cho'Gall feels cute today. Oh, look at those entombs. Yeah, Leoric might turn this one around for them. They take down Imperius. Guys, we could actually see a turnaround. They're taking the fort and the red team is now on the run. It's 20 versus 20. And specifically the plays that we're getting from Leorki are helping them here. This is the second awesome entomb that he had. First, they were able to take down Greymane because of him, and now they took down Imperius. I'm telling you, we might see a comeback here. They might turn this around after all. They have basically nothing left but the keep in the middle. The core has already taken damage. Now they're breaking through the mid lane. There's another Webweaver at the bottom of the map that will likely take down the fort here. But of course, it's all about the aggression in the middle of the map. And this keep is about to go down. Inequalis is getting there. They take the keep. They're making some massive, massive jumps to equalize the situation on the map. With a fort at the bottom now falling, that means that there's only a single keep difference between the two teams, and now the boss is up and they want it. They are actually starting to get there. We have 130,000 damage now for Gal. He really picked it up. So did Greymane, by the way. I mean, Greymane, I think, nearly doubled his damage output. But he's nowhere near what we're seeing from Gal, for example. They let that boss go. They're trying to, well, turn some gems in maybe, but the boss has already been taken. It seems like the red team has lost all confidence, by the way. The red team was in a good spot, and then all of a sudden, they just, yeah, just talking about letting things just happen. So they go for the turn-in. They give them the defense on the boss and go for the Web Weaver turn-in instead. Alright. Could have synced that maybe up a little bit. But this is gonna make this a bit easier for the Blackheart's boys. They will still lose a keep with this attack. And they might lose the game right now. I mean, kudos to Inequalis for never giving up here. Honestly, again the Entomb. Again the Entomb. The Entomb combo with Cho'Gall's damage is just too much for them to handle. And Nubarak going down, Blaze going down. They got it. They got it. The turnaround. Unbelievable. They actually pull it off. What a comeback by Inequalis. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Leo's level 20 really sealed it. Obviously, the damage output that we're now seeing from Cho'Gall played also a huge role with it. But Leoric has now dropped 3 massive Entombs on the red team. And every single one of them led to a crucial and key kill against them. So the core goes down, and that is it. Inequalis with the lead in this series. Cho'Gall able to turn the game around. And they are victorious on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Absolutely crazy comeback. And, well, kudos to them. Nicely done, well played. And GG.
We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series.
Inequalis is in the lead. 6.5 out of 10 as Cho'Gall turned the game around. So, good job. We have now Jillian on Kel'Thas. We got Jim Beam on Anduin. Elia on Stitches. Kenny on Deathwing. And Sejra is playing Thrall with Echo of Elements on level 1. Going for another one of the big reward quests, of course. With all of this set up in the recent patches. And yeah, we'll see how much extra damage they can get with this. Over on the right side, it is the Blackheart's boys, who definitely had a bit of a rude awakening on the last map. We now got Frankfurter on Hogger, Orbity on Chromie. Dreamstorm is playing Garrosh at the front. The Little Wise Owl went from Greymane over to Vala, and Morgan Black on Brightwing. Now, the important part is that actually with Vala going for Creed of the Hunter here on level 1, it's pretty important to note that they are playing this all out with a single support. So there's no triple front line here as a single support. It's expected in a situation like this that Vala is at least going to die a little bit. She can. She's not the only big damage dealer that they are relying upon. Kel'Thas, by the way, with Convection. Okay. Yeah, that has also been a little bit changed with the repeatable quest, but we get Convection. And we have also with the Echo of Elements now just trying to get some rewards in over here. So mana cost reduction at the beginning, and then some extra charges, bounces. So you can actually work that in quite a lot. Normally influences the build also, depending on your talents, let's say level 16 for example. Typically we get the Maelstrom weapon these days for Thrall, but quick reminder again, this is Division 5. Oh, nice hook! This is actually Division 5, so we're talking at the lower levels. Typically players over here are, I mean, not necessarily bronze, but something around silver. Typically, a little bit of plat mixed in as well. So, lower level for sure of the amateur scene. Which makes, again, for some interesting builds at times and some interesting turnarounds. Game number 1, for example, totally crazy that we're able to do this. Even with the late game Cho'Gall, the red team is not happy that that happened. They had chances to go for the core and turn this one, well, prevent the turnaround and lock the victory in, but yeah, missed out on it. So now we got top side, Thrall up against Hogger. Yeah, they're rotating. That's a very early camp that they're trying to take here. Camp gets announced. The first objective gets announced 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, so going for a camp this early is not really typical. To be fair, we have the objective spawning topside, so you will get limited value out of that anyways, but still most teams would time that more around objective number 1 instead of going for it that early. For Vala, a little bit of a sustained battle and some brawls would be quite nice too, just so she can stack more reliably. Stitches now with level 4 playtime, and of course he's waiting for that 13 talent, so he gets the hook extension. I suppose they're going to play this also. Actually, I'm not quite sure. Normally you would say, okay, this is going to be a Gorge play, but they don't have a lot to follow up on Gorge. They got a few CC tools that they can use, so technically they have Thrall, they have Kalthas, Anduin that can try and stun that target out. But given that this is Infernal Shrines and that we're looking at a Division 5 match, it could be Putrid Bile. I mean, just saying. So, Vala by now with 8 stacks. Another hook on Chromie, nice! Yeah, Stitches is homing in on Gnomi pretty hard here. And so far, these have been hitting quite well. So Garrosh is attempting to save her as best as possible. We have now for Thrall 10 stacks. So not really massive progress over here. But the next fight, the big one over the Shrine, this is really where he can start to stack this up a lot more aggressively. Or at least should be able to. Kalthas, by the way, doesn't have a single stack yet. Not even one. We're now 3.5 minutes in. Hasn't died yet, but hasn't gotten a single connect with his Flame Strike. Stitch is down. That's first blood, so job well done. Blackheart's boys, again, with a small lead here as it starts out. And Deathwing just blasting everything away. An early level 7 talent for the red team. They still are at the top lane with only 4 of their heroes. Now Stitches has died, so it's a 4 versus 4. But it seems that Hogger doesn't have any ambitions to help them out, and instead is just going to the bottom of the map to try and get some extra experience. Another wave coming in. Yeah, pull on Kalthas. Deathwing going in deep, alright. And just walks... What? Just walks past Garrosh. I think they could have tried to go for a bit of a body block there and eliminate him. They still have control over the Shrine, and Hogger is just going for camps. Hogger is currently the guy that everybody yells at in voice and in the chat and is like, dude, join the objective! And he just doesn't care. He's just going from one camp to another, and I suppose that the idea here is that they're letting this one slide. It's only the first one. Still a Frozen Punisher, which can hurt. But they're just simply letting this one slide, and they're just saying, alright guys, we're just going to do our thing. Let Hogger push the lanes, get a bit ahead in experience, and as long as we defend well, once they have the Punisher, we're still trading okay. And that can work. But, yeah, he's going to get all the camps for them now. They got a bit of structural damage already done, thanks to this, but the Frozen Punisher is now active at the top, and let's see how the blue team is going to handle it. Normally I would have expected them to send one of their heroes down to the bottom of the map to match Hogger a long time ago. They haven't done that. They just now send Deathwing down, but it also means that they have to now do damage at the top. They lost, of course, out on some experience, and they're trying to make up for it here. But the Punisher, now baited in, it's not going to do too much damage. They're defending this actually quite well. Kalthas has now 6 stacks on Convection, but Hogger is still pushing at the bottom of the map. Should now also trigger the Inspire buff. Come on, dude. 1 auto attack at a minimum. Yeah, triggers the Inspire buff. They get some parts of the wall destroyed thanks to the camps. And, I mean, all in all, they walked away with a better trade. Blue team's reaction could have been better for sure, moving down there. They didn't. Oh, and now they're invading. Look at that. They're coming in, trying to get a kill on Kalthas. Oh, they're not able to get that at least. But they stole the camp away. If they would have gotten the kill on Kalthas and with Convection on 1, oh, that would have been amazing for the red team. But not quite. Now, the blue team, they got the first objective, but again, they're a level behind now, and there's level 10 abilities already. We get Shockwave. We have also Temporal Loop. We're getting Blink Heal. Vala very likely going to go for Rain of Vengeance here. Maybe not. I mean, she's holding that back for a long time. 44 stacks, so doesn't get... There it is. Rain of Vengeance, alright. So Vala is not going hasn't gone for additional damage yet, but hasn't died yet either, so that's already a win. 44 stacks is, yeah, quite nice. We still have, with the blue team picking up the heroic abilities now, talents added. And it is Putrid Bile. Okay, so I theorized about this already earlier. It is indeed Putrid Bile that we're getting. So no Gorge plays. We're trying for the next wall up here. Deathwing has gone into the Bellowing Roar, and we have Light Bomb. I think they had a lot of tools that they could have used with Gorge, but apparently they're really just trying to get some control over the shrines. Personally, I'm not really the biggest fan of Putrid Bile. We'll see how it works out for them. They're still trying for... That is actually quite the play here. Damn. Really? Light Bomb on Stitches before he hooks? I mean, normally you trust with Malfurion and others, but trusting with that cooldown? That's wild. That's really wild. You have other CC tools, you know that, right? You could have just used the Gravity Lapse. That is a wild play to make. That's a lot of trust in Stitches that he did not justify. Now the hook obviously connects, but Vala is able to go walk away. They're getting Stitches back in the action, and that's a lot of auto attack connects, and it's actually a kill. Vala gets the kill here. Nice. Very well done. Stitches down, that's 3 kills to 0. Objective announced. Spawning in the middle of the map, but they're trying to get the damage in up at the top on the fort, and they will get another kill. Anduin is down, the Crybaby eliminated. That's 4 kills to 0 now, and Vala is happily picking up additional stacks for a level 1 talent. As Khaldor is, of course, trying to do the same. He's now at 11 stacks. So he's getting there. He's definitely getting there with that extra damage that he's going to get. But it's a slow progress for him, and I'm not sure if it's going to be worth it in the end. Right now, my first reaction would be probably not. We got 4 kills to 0. 13 talents are in. They have full control over the objective now, over the shrine. And I don't think that the blue team is really going to try and contest this. Khaldor will maybe come in with a Flame Strike or 2 to try and get some hits in. But it's highly unlikely that they're going to be able to take this. There's 30 to 0 stacks currently going on in favor of the Blackheart's boys. And they will walk away with that Mortar Punisher. They haven't been able to take down the fort at the top. But here comes the hook. Doesn't connect with anything. Thrall with 25 stacks now, so currently his mana management is a little bit easier. Needs another 15 for that bounce and extra charge. If he if he gets those stacks faster, then this is going to be a huge help. Right now, he's still a long way. No! Ah, Anduin with a save. Okay. There we go. I was about to say he's going to lose his stacks here. He's at 14 now. But yeah, they definitely need progress on some of these stacks. They need level 13 talent for Stitches, which they now have, so the hook extension is there. They need Khaldor to accelerate the progress a little bit, and the same true for Thrall. If they can do that, then maybe this is going to add up to them gaining some ground. But right now, it's a bit reminiscent of what happened, at least initially in Game 1, when the Blackheart's boys dominated the majority of the game. Now, if you then take the late game, then you can always go for that big turnaround. We already saw that on the first map, on Tomb of the Spider Queen. But it's going to be much, much harder with the heroes that they're running here. Cho'Gall is known to be a late game machine that scales well. But over here, they would have to rely on the scaling of Thrall, Pinnacle Quest reward maybe, on Khaldor doing a lot of work on going for the stacks, but it's just not looking like it. And as a quick reminder, they haven't taken down Vala either. Vala with Manticore later on and potentially more stacks on her level 1 is going to be a huge issue for Stitches and also for Deathwing. So there's a lot of tools. And Vala, I mean, already with big damage here. You got that burst damage from Chromie coming through too. But Vala is getting now stack after stack, and she's doing a lot of work against those frontliners. We have her on 20,000 damage, top damage in the game, and that's all happening without Manticore right now. As Hogger is about to take the fort at the bottom of the map, he's getting dangerously close there. All of the forts have taken damage on the blue team side. Half a level to 16. Then Manticore is going to make the life of particularly Deathwing and Stitches much, much harder. And it's already tough enough as is. 17 stacks for Khaldor. So he is going to get his first reward in just a moment. Quest is repeatable, so that's the good news. But you're losing your stacking progress once you die. And yeah, he needs to work on this. You know, if he would have done this now, if he would have added more and more damage throughout all of it, then maybe I could see it. But right now, even with one reward stack, I don't think it's going to be too much. Now, we're getting fast forward. Vala is trying to be cute and acting like she's not going to take Manticore, which is, of course, ridiculous. It would be more ridiculous if she actually didn't pick it. But, yeah, they're going to get the damage out at the top against the minion waves in the fort if nobody tries to stop it. And Thrall is the only one that rotates currently. Stitches is now making his way over, but Garrosh is going to figure that out in just a second. And yeah, even without Vala, but she's still getting the attacks in, but even without her, that would have been the end of the fort. And now Hogga has taken the one at the bottom of the map. Does Vala not realize she has a level 16 talent to spend? That would be crazy. I would assume that she's not going to pick it in a second, and she still doesn't. I think Vala hasn't realized that she didn't pick her level 16 yet. They're getting the damage in right now, and Vala has actually forgotten to pick her level 16. There is no reason anymore to not pick it here. And now she also committed Sudoku right there. Honorable Subaru by Vala as she went deep into the choke point and just dies for no reason. So that's now 5% of the attack speed gone. Has picked up Manticore now, so yeah, she realized, well, something is missing there. But yeah, that's a little bit of an F play right there. Definitely a yellow card in progress. 40 stacks for Thrall, so good for him. That means that right now we have the additional bounce and we have the extra charge. Plus, we have, of course, Thunderstorm on level 16. So Thrall has a bit more of an impact at this point. Kel'Thas has also 20 stacks. So 20 stacks are in. Can continue to repeat that. Flame Strike damage is in. Maximum health is a little bit increased. So now if they tee Kel'Thas up properly with some stuns, he can actually have more of an impact in the team fights. But with the objective essentially gone at the top, the boys are just moving through the lanes and trying to take down some of the remaining forts, and the last one has now been destroyed. So it's time for the Punisher at the top to do some work and for Inequalis to try and return the favor. At least take one of them out. Thrall now with a lot more stacks coming in a lot quicker. That's definitely needed. Again, very, very late to the party. This is a quest that is, generally speaking, easily completed, and they just need to do more with it now. But it's helping him at least a bit to get the numbers in. Hogga is continuously rotating between the lanes. Actually crazy. He's been using his PhD in PvE the entire game. He's sitting at 160,000 siege damage, which is just crazy. Basically, still some hero damage that he was able to get in, but he's been on those lanes for the entire game. Brightwing gets hooked, is able to jump out. Vala with good damage against the Punisher. They're defending this well, and now it's Thrall that gets attacked, but the Rain of Vengeance just comes a little bit too late. Kel'Thas is on 27,000 damage. He's the top damage dealer for the team. Anduin, as you would expect, the lowest damage dealer in the game. I mean, again, the guy doesn't even know how to hold a sword properly, so what do you expect? Would have shocked me if he did anything else. But if you have less damage than a fruit fly, then, yeah, I don't even know what to tell you. So, Anduin is good at one thing, that is like running around. Throwing some light in. So, Kel'Thas, careful, my friend. You got some decent damage, but you shouldn't no front line. That's not a good idea. That's a very bad idea, actually. But get that Flame Strike damage in, by all means. Can they turn this around again? That would be wild. They are nearly even in experience now, but structurally, of course, far behind. Vala is about to get another quest reward. Getting that extra damage on her auto attack. Stitches with playtime now. Thrall, 52 stacks and a completed level 16 quest for now. Can of course reset, but still, this is also quite nice. So he's going to get more and more work done with this. They have more poke here. His damage, not really amazing, but again, it's slowly increasing. 30,000 damage puts Kel'Thas still a bit behind Chromie, but they are getting more bold now. Shouldn't really be too aggressive though, because they're running into an opponent that has a level 20 talent. Bit of a face check happening. Yeah, and they're all... Oh my god, no! It's a full-on wipe with the exception of Deathwing. They got basically the entire team here. 4 heroes dead. The trap that they set turns against them. Look at that shockwave that we got from Hogger. Absolutely perfect. And then everybody can just pile on top of it. It's a full choke point play, and they all just die. Level 20 is ready for the Blackhearts boys, and now they can just do whatever they want here. They have no lane pushed out completely, so they can't immediately go for a keep, but they should at least try here. They have taken the camp. Vala has dealt with the top lane. They have another 20 seconds to break through that wall and do damage on the keep itself. Vala obviously now also heading into the Farfly Quiver. But yeah, absolutely nasty. That was rough. That was a rude awakening for Inequalis. And they're gonna lose the keep here for sure. Deathwing, he can't do anything about it. They're gonna get Kel'Thas and the rest back in a moment, but with the camps, the minions, the catapults, you can't save this one. So, keep number 1, now gone. Quickly eliminated here. Objective up at the bottom of the map, and the blue team just now trying to recover. They have their own level 20. They have Storm Talents now. That gives us also the upgrade for Kel'Thas with Flamethrower. Master Hooker for Stitches. Inner Fire for Anduin. Yeah, something that he gets very late. I mean, I honestly never really thought that Anduin had any Inner Fire, but it makes perfect sense that this is a level 20 talent for him. Because typically he's running around 90% of the game without any passion. So there's that. Attacks are coming once again. Vala trying to get the damage connected. Red team a little bit low here, but the problem is so is Deathwing, so are Stitches. The two of them might fall here. Vala is trying to go in and take them down and gets dangerously close. In comes the damage from Chromie, and then Vala with a kill shot on Stitches. So he's gone. Maybe... Nah, they can't even get Garrosh. Garrosh is also getting saved by Brightwing. Another quick save right here as Vala is just dancing around them. Hit after hit coming, and she's working it. Girl is getting damage, connected, propping also Chromie up, who's oftentimes coming in with the final blows then. Chromie at 45,000, but just look at Vala just murdering right now. Gets another connect against Deathwing, and he is dead too. Vala is going to be top damage in the game in just a few seconds. If those fights continue, she is definitely going to run the show. They already have the Frozen Punisher at the bottom of the map. Now 2 defenders are dead. We have a 5 versus 3. The wall is broken. The Punisher is jumping in. And they're getting a flip with Garrosh that nearly eliminates Thrall. And he actually dies. He goes down. Thrall is down. Thrall is gone. Anduin is also dead. And the Blackhearts boys with a massive amount of momentum. As Vala takes the top damage slot in the game from Chromie. Just steals it away. And they are making their way towards the core, which already lost its shield to the catapults through the top lane. Nicely done. Fantastic job by the Blackhearts boys as they are taking the win on Infernal Shrines. They tie up the series as we are moving on to game number 3, the final map of this show.
Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Game number 3, Cursed Hollow is the map, and we're on the final map of the best of 3 series. And boy, Inequalis, they went deep on the draft. Jillian on Illidan, we got Jim Beam on Brightwing, Sejra is playing Leoric, we got Elia on Diablo, and Kenny on Abathar. So we got an Illidan Abathar combo on a pretty big map, so this could be difficult for the Blackhearts boys to deal with. They, on the other hand, went straight into an Infest Zagara over here, with Orbity on Varian, we got Morgan Black on Malfurion, Dreamstorm coming in with Jaina, and then Frankfurter on Malthael. So with Varian, you got your taunt, obviously, with lots of burst damage from Jaina coming in after the root extends the stun even further. So, yeah, let's see how this one's gonna work out. Fealty unto Death here on level 1 for them. On top of that, we got On the Pale Horse now. But especially Infest Zagara is going to be interesting as the game continues. If Inequalis doesn't react to Zagara pushes on the lane, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. That said, Illidan can be a huge problem in the late game for them, so they have to deal with that somehow. But yeah, time will tell. Now, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, also again a quick reminder that we are having some pretty big tournaments coming up, particularly the Nations Cup at the end of January in 2026, of course. $10,000 of prize money on the line there. And, well, it's an open tournament. Anybody can sign up with a team. Obviously needs to be a team from a specific country. And I'll link in the description of the video all of the rules and also the sign-up link, so you guys can check that out for yourself. But it's going to be a huge tournament. If you want someone to represent your country, for example, if there are some streamers, maybe some former players or active players that you want to see in a team, then you should tell them, spread the word a little bit, let people know where they can watch it too, because it's going to be pretty fun. With $10,000 of prize money, we have a lot of money on the line, and it's also broken down to essentially all of the teams that make it into the playoffs, which is massive. Typically, it's only the top 2, top 3 that get prize money. But in a tournament like this, everybody that makes it to the playoffs will at least get something out of it. So I hope that we're going to have a lot of teams sign up. And also that we are maybe seeing a couple of players, you know, start a bit of a comeback. Nations Cups are also a lot of fun. And I can't wait to see what we're going to get there. What we're going to get in our third game is a quick kill on Brightwing. And I don't think that Illidan is going to be too happy about this either, because that's going to be kill number 2. Yeah, they overstepped slightly, and the one thing that we've seen from the Blackhearts boys through the entire series, time and time again, is the massive aggression that we're getting from them. They are hyper-aggressive around all of this and are making the play right there. So, in the meantime, we're having topside Kenny just holding the lane. They're going to try and kill him, of course. They're always trying to kill Kenny. But with the camp already stolen, we're now getting Siege Giants that get taken. Down at the bottom of the map, Zagara is still pushing, has after her level 1 gone into Medusa Blades now. So really just looking for massive lane pressure, with Taunt now active for Varian, so they can start to execute that combo with Varian, Malfurion and Jaina. Tributes are slowly up, and yep, thanks to Inspire, and of course also the Infest buff, Zagara is pressuring aggressively at the bottom, and Leo is apparently not able to withstand that. He's running into huge problems there. Illidan at the top is apparently also facing off against the music and is about to get murdered. So is Brightwing. The two of them have now died 2 times each, and that's the first tribute for the red team. So they're in a great spot. They're getting structural value at the bottom of the map. The little wise owl is dropping... Leo? Hello? Nearly dropped Leo here, but is definitely doing lots of work on that lane. They have level 7 now also. And even with Abathar's help, this is starting to become a problem. But I think Zagara... Wow, she actually made it. Damn girl. Alright, Zagara gets the kill on Leoki. Has to fall back then, but somebody will have to help Leoric at the bottom of the map, or this is going to be a disaster for them. Illidan is going to capitalize on the map opening up, so that's the good news, I guess. Later on he can be a huge problem, and this could actually lead to a turnaround. But the early game, let's not kid ourselves here. The red team is once again walking away with it. Massively. 5 kills to 0 at the 4-minute mark and more than a 1 level advantage. That's a problem. And a big problem at that. Abathon level 7 with a network carapace. No mule. Interesting choice, honestly. But yeah, no mule for Abathon. And it seems like the second tribute also goes to the Blackhearts boys. So they get the second tribute. Zagara is still pushing at the bottom of the map. Diablo getting attacked here. They can't get the kill. Should probably focus also on Illidan. Illidan is going to be the big threat in the later stages of the game. It's kind of wild to me, by the way, that there's no range damage for Inequalos. I mean, typically you would have expected Illidan to be the side laner, them having a range damage dealer. But this is a triple front line, with Illidan then gonna be the big damage dealer later on. And they have no range poke, which makes it really difficult for them to defend when they're low in HP. Because the opponent can poke them with damage from Zagara, from Jaina, I mean, even Malthael to an extent. And they will have a tough time just poking away against it, even just poking away against minion waves. So this is a problem. Malfurion now with Twilight Dream so that he can counteract Illidan a little bit when he starts to jump in later. Last Rites
which is also, of course, a problem for Illidan potentially. Is that a kill? No. Illidan need to be careful there too, because that could have been a kill against him if he overdoes it. Even with level 10 abilities, they're giving them the tribute though. Oh, sorry, my bad. For a second, I thought this was reversed. I was just like shocked. I was like, how can you not get the tribute with level 10? My bad, my bad. They took the tribute as they should have. Thank God. I was like, wow, wild. Mixed the colors up for just a second. So yeah, there's the curse. And this is, of course, going to provide even more pressure against Inequalis. The first fort is already gone. Illidan now moving towards the top, trying to stop Malthael. But the red team is getting another structure destroyed in the middle. Or at least so I'd assume. And Zagara is not really willing to go that deep. So she's just rotating between the lanes and will most likely work on the top fort next. Here in the middle, this one goes down. Zagara, again, slowly makes her way towards the top. Illidan not going for the hunt, by the way, so they don't have a pseudo-global either. I think hunt would have been a really nice tool for them to control any kind of like side lane pressure. But he went for Metamorphosis, which is going to help him to dodge out on some of the abilities potentially from the opponent. And yeah, maybe run the longer sustained fight. But they're not going to get these easy kills against Zagara being alone on lane or somebody else, where Illidan just hunts in, gets an Abathur head, and then they can go for the kill. So the 40 are nearly gone. Twilight Dream from Malfurion. Nice damage. Brightwing. They're getting Diablo first, but the Maw also hitting hard. Leoki already down, and Illidan, he has to Metamorphosis out or he would have died next. Good root against Brightwing, and there's the next taunt and the next kill. 8 kills to 0. Crazy good game right now from Blackheart's boys. Yeah, they're doing really well. 2 levels ahead. Well, 1.5. But 8 kills ahead, and they destroyed 3 forts now. And they're going for the boss at the top. So 3 forts already gone. And that is just... This is tricky. This is like really, really tricky for the blue team. As I said before, Illidan has the advantage that he scales really well into the late game, specifically when you're playing this one out with Abathur. So he can do a lot of damage when he has room to work with. But the gap is opening so quickly that he might not get to that point. And more importantly, there are tools on the red team side that can deal with him. A good taunt and insta-burst damage from Jaina, Malfurion's follow-up with the Twilight Dream and roots on the ground can really, really mess with Illidan and his ability to chase. So it depends on how the fights run. If the boys go too deep, overextend themselves, and then Illidan is able to chase them towards their base and get a few kills in the process, then that's obviously an invitation for the blue team to get back into the game. But if they're controlling this well, don't take any unnecessary risks and focus Illidan quickly, then Inequalis is going to have a very tough time turning this one around. They made a massive comeback in game number 1. It was insane, honestly. But can they do it again? That's the big question right now. At the bottom of the map, yeah, well, you have now more experience picked up by the Blackheart's boys. They also got that boss. Next tribute is spawning at the top, but it seems that the red team is very, very eager to get at least some damage in here. And Zagara is just rotating on the lanes, dealing with mercenary camps that have been set en route by Inequalis. She's now at 63,000 damage in siege damage alone. Has done a lot, obviously, earlier to push. Abathur, yeah. Zagara is on her way. And I think they're going to kill Kenny. Yes! Oh my god, they are killing Kenny. No! Run! The slug is dead. Picked up the tribute and then gets eliminated. Kenny is dead. The wall at the bottom has been targeted. They're still trying to make the work here. 4 kills to 4. Illidan is chasing them hard, but gets hit by the Twilight Dream and dies, as does Diablo. He uses Apocalypse and it just didn't do enough. Now they're about to lose Brightwing. Diablo came back, he at least had his stacks, but that's the keep. Gone. Keep destroyed. 3 level advantage. Level 16 talent. Zagara wasn't here the entire time. She's been pushing, getting XP for the team, and is now knocking at the top keeps wall. Another taunt, another kill. 2 stacks for Malthael so far. He's sitting at a 10-second cooldown reduction, and Zagara is just brutalizing the top lane now. Inspire buff and also her level 1 kicking in. Infest, and they are just going through that structure like hot butter through cheese. Zagara is going to take that out super quickly. That's the second keep gone. Kenny with a copy, but it's not going to be enough. Instead, they're locking down Illidan again. CC for days! For days! Brightwing trying to rescue the blind one, but that's the two of them dead again. And the core is already losing hit points too. 85%. Zagara now pushing back in. There's the double push. No mule on Abathar, so even if they save it here, there would be a backdoor eventually. 15 kills to 0. It's a perfect game as the Blackhearts boys win the series, take Cursed Hollow, and the best of 3. Perfect performance by them. 3.5 level advantage, and a pretty neat victory here. GG. Well played.